Hi, my name's Lara. Welcome to my channel, Inner Goddess Guidance. I created this channel for people who are seeking guidance on their path to self-mastery and healing, and particularly for divine feminines on the twin flame path, as I consider myself one. I have combined my skills and experiences in coaching and teaching, and as well as bringing my own experience from my own self-healing experience on this path. And so hopefully there's some good tips to guide you. My personal belief is that we all have within us our own inner guidance system, that our higher self does know what is best for us. And we can go out and learn from people and try out their tools. But in the end, the person who's in charge of our healing is ourselves. If we sort of expect somebody else to do the work, then we're at their mercy, right? And we sort of, I think sometimes think that if somebody else does it well, we can blame them if we don't get well. But anyway, the most effective thing that we can do is to take charge of our own healing. And this journey is very much about that in terms of the twin flame path. So I think that we all are incredibly resilient, and we can find inspiration, and I'm hoping that you find some here. So today I really want to focus on the issue of comparing ourselves to others, self-judgment, and even the way we judge others. That's sort of part of our mind that thinks that that there's an ideal we have to be, or some sort of normal way of being that we have to achieve, or that others should be really for us, right? So when I was young, I was lucky enough in high school to get introduced to Leo Buscaglia's work. And Leo Buscaglia was a professor at the University of Southern California, and he started a class that was called the Love Class. And he wrote several books, and this is one of them, one of the most popular ones, and I highly recommend it. It's easy to read, it's conceptual, but it also is practical, and it is very inspirational to read. So not in this book, but in a different book, I remembered an analogy he made that stuck with me that I want to share with you now. And basically he said that sometimes we get into a relationship with somebody who really loves bananas. Now, in this case, he's using fruits and likening them to people. Okay? So he says you get in a relationship with somebody, you fall in love with somebody who really, really loves bananas. And so you try to make yourself into a banana, but you're not a banana. You're authentically a peach. But you know that this person really, really loves bananas, and so you try to change yourself from a peach into a banana. The problem with that is that you are, in fact, not a banana, you're a peach. And the person that you're in love with is going to know that, because you will never be a first-rate banana. You'll never be a perfect banana, and a banana lover knows bananas. You will always be a second-rate banana because you are authentically a peach. But here's the thing. There are people who love peaches. And if you can become the best peach you are, instead of being a peach who's trying to be a banana, if you just be the best peach you can be, then the peach lover is going to come along and just know that you are authentically this beautiful, tasty, wonderful, perfect peach, okay, for them. I know that's sort of a funny analogy to use fruits, but it really stuck with me my whole life. And I think I read that when I was about 16 or 17 years old. And it just resonated my whole life. Of course, it didn't stop me from comparing myself. It didn't stop me from the self-judgments, but it was always there. And as I've taken this journey, I've learned that I cannot try to be anything that's not authentic to me. So how could I stop myself from comparing or judging myself against other people? Particularly for a lot of us who are in a relationship or who are in separation from someone who has another partner. And this is just triggering, right? Like, how are we different? What am I lacking? Why do you want to be with that person more than you want to be with me? And so many of us have that experience. So how could I get in touch with myself enough and fill myself up and celebrate myself so that I stopped comparing myself against somebody else? Because comparisons never work. They're never helpful. Well, let me take that back. I think if you have a sort of a rivalry, a person can push you to be better. Like, you could identify an area that you're lacking and sort of say, oh, I'm really going to set myself to being, let's say, a more positive person, or I'm going to set myself to being more confident. Whatever is the quality that you think you're lacking, a rival, a worthy foe, my therapist would say, a worthy foe pushes you to be more of who you can be, to be better, right? To go beyond. But I think for the most part, comparisons are very harmful. I think we start to compare ourselves around teenage years. I think it starts a little earlier now. I think that the media doesn't help any of that. The idea that there is a perfect, some sort of perfect way to be, desirable traits versus non-desirable traits. Like, let's say, long hair, blonde hair, curly hair, to be a certain height, to be a certain weight, to have a certain kind of smile. And if we feel like we don't live up to that norm, then we put ourselves down, right? Oh, I'm not good enough because I don't measure up to that norm that I see. Well, here are some tips for how you can perhaps stop that cycle if you are somebody that does a lot of self-criticism. And I want to also point out that when we criticize others, we're doing the same thing. You may be putting yourself up, but you're still engaging in the same cycle of comparison. And I think probably the best thing to do is try to stop that cycle of comparison if you can. So when you catch yourself comparing your car, your income, your body, your anything against another person, either to elevate yourself or to demean yourself, try to stop and see what happens. So I'll give you a good example of this. If I wanted to be a tarot reader and I looked at Angela from Mystic Moon and I said, wow, she's the best. I'm going to be like Angela. And then I tried to remake myself based upon what I saw her doing. You guys, all of you who watch her, would see, number one, that I was trying to remake myself in her image, right? And two, you would know right away that I wasn't being successful because I would never be as good as her because I'm not her. And what's great about Angela is that she's authentically herself. Now, here's what I think. I think that we live in this great time of so much creativity and people expressing who they are that we have to shift out of the comparison. And what we have to be able to do is just allow and celebrate somebody for their strengths without envying them for those. So in other words, I look at Angela's readings, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, she is so spot on. She is so talented. I love the way she's articulate. She gets straight to the point. And that doesn't mean that I have to put myself down in the next sentence. I don't need to say, gosh, and I struggle, gosh, and I can't, gosh, all this stuff. I can just say, she's amazing. I celebrate her. I think that one great way to go about getting in touch with your own strengths, if you have had a history of this kind of comparison, one option that I suggest is to take some personality tests. One very good personality test that you can do for free is called the Myers-Briggs personality test. There are 16 personalities, so there's a good variety. And there's a website that's called 16personalities.com. You can go on there and take the test for free. You can sign up for free. It will give you a detailed report after you've taken this test. And it will highlight your strengths, your weaknesses, how you are as a boss, how you are as even in a relationship or as a parent. There's a lot of little things that you can look up. And what you do is that you take the test and then you put in your email address and they will send you the results. They'll send you a link that then you can go in and see all these different parts. So I wanted to share that quickly with you. So if you're not familiar with Myers-Briggs, it is one of the most used of the personality type tests. And there's all kinds of reasons why personality type tests aren't accurate, but we're going to work with what is good about them right now. So mine came out, as it always does, as what's known as the INFP type. Intuitive, I think it's nurturing, feeling, perception, or something like that. Okay, so then on mine, I went ahead and I clicked on strengths because I want to know what's good. I don't want to focus on the bad. I might pick one thing that's in the weaknesses category that I want to focus on improving, but we'll get to that in a minute. What I want to do is I want to go in and see what the strengths are. So they'll give you something like this. It comes out and it says idealistic, seeks value and harmony, and some other bullet pointed ones on the next page. And they do this for all the personality types. This one is known, by the way, as the nurturer, which doesn't surprise me because when I was little, I was already taking care of everybody. I love to take care of people. Love to nurture. And you can do the same thing with your horoscope type, right? Like you can look up the strengths of that. You could use that to sort of mine for your strengths. What I suggest you do with this is read through it with a Sharpie or read through it on your computer or your phone. Highlight the words that stand out, that resonate for you. They won't all resonate. You might read it and say, oh no, this is off. But find the parts of it that are positive, that are on for you. So for example, mine mentions that it's the mediator, not the nurturer. I'm sorry. With mediator personality type have no interest in having power over others and don't much care for domineering attitudes at all. They prefer a more democratic approach and work hard to ensure that every voice and perspective is heard. So of that, I might say I value every voice. I support people in finding their voice. Not surprising that I'm doing a channel like this, right? It fits. So go through and find the things about yourself that fit, that work, that are appropriate. And then here's an idea for your journal. Where did I put it? I had it right here. Where did I put my journal? Oh my goodness, there it is. So here's an idea. Take a picture of yourself from when you were a kid. You know, back before you started comparing yourself to the world, right? We were all super cute as kids. So I took a photo, and this is just a copy of the photo, and I printed it out on the printer, stuck it in the middle of the page in my journal, and I wrote mediator, INFP, at the top. And then I took the words that I had highlighted that I found, and I surrounded it with that photo. These are the labels these are my strengths. So idealistic, values harmony, optimistic, flexible, open-minded, creative, energetic, passionate, resilient attitude. And then I found one little quote I liked a lot. First to lend a helping hand. Yep, those are all my strengths. So you can go back to that to add to that list, but really start focusing on what are your unique gifts and strengths so that you're not comparing yourself to somebody else. And you don't have to say, I'm nicer than other people, I'm more nurturing, I'm more passionate, I'm more dedicated and hardworking, because again, why compare? All you have to do is know who you are. I'm dedicated and hardworking. I like supporting people. I'm a mediator. I find solutions. I like peace and harmony. Okay. The next thing I suggest is that if you have some areas that you want to improve on, maybe you know already what they are. You have some issues you want to work on. You want to be more positive. You want to be more outgoing. So these personality types are they're not set in stone. We're constantly fluctuating throughout our life. I have become more extroverted. If you read the very first part is introverted. And when I take the test, I come out I think it's 70% introverted or 60-some% introverted. So for me, doing this channel was a huge challenge. I had to confront a lot of stuff, and I had to say to myself, okay, I know that it's not my nature to do this, but I really want to do this. So I'm going to push myself outside my comfort zone. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to become a little more than what I am right now. I'm going to try on some new ways of being, new behaviors. I'm going to give it a shot. And that is where the growth is. So first, start from your strengths, really celebrate your strengths, right? Get in touch with them. But then you can look at what they target as your weaknesses, and you could target one thing. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't focus on the negative, but target one or two things that you think, ooh, yeah, that's true of me, and I can improve that. And then begin to make a little plan for doing it. So with mine, it says, not surprising, too idealistic, too altruistic, impractical, takes things personally, and difficult to get to know. So of that, I could focus on any of them, but the one that I kind of stands out to me is that I want to work on not taking things personally. Okay, so I might make a plan for myself. I'm going to become aware of when I'm taking things personally, and I'm not going to take them personally. I'm going to allow other people their opinions and not have it be about me. So that's my suggestion today, to become aware of when you're comparing yourself. Try to eliminate comparisons. To take time to take a personality type test, or to go into your astrological sign and pick out the strengths, but pick out strengths and really celebrate those strengths. Then, if you want, target one area where you feel like you can make some growth, and be specific. Really say, I'm going to start to focus on not taking things so personally, and make a plan of action, and then carry it out, or make an affirmation that you repeatedly use over and over and over again, until you feel like you've made progress. And track your progress in your journal. You know, you might say every day, I'm going to be aware of when I'm taking things personally. I'm trying not to. And then you can use your journal as a place to say, did I make progress in not taking things personally? Yes, at work, this person said this. And normally I would have responded this way, but instead I chose to, react differently or respond differently in that situation. Okay, that's it for today on that. The invocation. Dear Spirit of the universe, of love and light, please be with us in this time and place as we focus our collective intention on gaining wisdom and guidance for our journey toward healing and self-mastery. We ask for open hearts and minds to receive the messages that will serve our highest and best good. In the service of love in all forms, with deep gratitude, thank you. Okay, so a goddess energy card, or goddess oracle card, sorry, comes from the Goddess Oracle by Amy Sophia Marashinsky and Rana Junto. Spirit, please give us one goddess energy for the day today. Oh, there we go. This one goddess energy that's working with us. Who can? Perfect. Rhiannon, doubt. Rhiannon, doubt. Alamino P, QR. Where is she? She's getting, oh, there she is. Okay. I wasn't certain after all. My face had blood on it. All fingers pointed to me. Could I have killed him? My infant son, my own, in my sleep? I was accused and found guilty, and I doubted myself for 7 long years. I played horse to my lord husband Will's guests, carrying them into court, carrying them out again. And the times were many when I doubted myself, doubted along with all the other humans, that because I was from the other world, anything was possible. The Welsh horse goddess of the underworld, Rigatona, or Great Queen, was Rhiannon's original name. Her story was reduced to something of a fairy tale, just as her name was changed from Great Queen. Though not human, she married Pwyll, a mortal, and bore him a son who disappeared at birth. The attendant maid smeared the blood of a puppy on Rhiannon's face and accused her of eating her child. Rhiannon was sentenced to carry all her husband's guests on her back. When her son reappeared after 7 years, all lived happily ever after. Rhiannon gallops into your life to tell you how to work with doubt. To doubt someone or something when your instincts are giving you warning signals is healthy. To spend time doubting yourself is self-negating and not very helpful. The best way of working with self-doubt is to turn into self-questioning. Self-doubt leads you nowhere. Self-questioning gives you answers. Do you get stuck in doubt and let it turn your optimism into despair, your confidence into low self-esteem, your vitality into sluggishness and procrastination? Does doubt align itself with your fears to keep you from succeeding? Do the doubts of others shipwreck your dream boat? Perhaps where the outside world is concerned, you need to exercise a bit more skepticism rather than trusting blindly. Rhiannon tells you not to let doubt erode your sacred self. Allow yourself to question rather than doubt so that you can gain the answers you need to continue on your path to wholeness. Yeah, it immediately jumped out to me about self-doubt, doubting yourself. And I think that a lot of times that comes in when we think that the picture of the outside world is reflecting back to us is more accurate than our internal definition of ourself. And to me, that goes back to the same kind of thing, like this is what's normal, this is what's expected, this is what I'm supposed to do, supposed to be, instead of allowing what really is true and authentic inside of us to emerge and come out. Everything about this journey for me has required me to confront my self-doubt. And it's been really worth it to do that. Hard, becoming mindful all the time of the ways that I undermine myself. So today you might think about, when are you doubting yourself? And maybe turn the skepticism, that questioning, outward. What does the media gain, for example, by telling you that there's this perfect norm that you need to achieve? And you compare yourself against the woman in the advertisement and say, I'm supposed to look like that. And the media is obviously gaining you. They want to encourage your own self-doubt. I mean, that's what's crazy about the capitalist society kind of system with advertising that we're in, because in order to sell us a product, they have to convince us that we're not okay the way we are right now. You need the product to make you better. That's what we should be doubtful of. That's what we should be skeptical of. That's what we should be questioning. It's not about, like, again, in one of the other videos I talk about beauty and you know, whatever makes you feel good. I wear makeup, I do my hair, because it makes me feel good. But I don't do it because they tell me I'm less than and that I have to, if that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Just constantly to be questioning it. Because I think when I was younger, I totally did the opposite. I didn't want to wear any makeup, and it really aggravated me. You know, I sort of rebelled against what I saw the women in my life doing. And I was like, that's ridiculous, not doing that. And I sort of went the opposite direction in terms of, in some ways, not really caring about what I looked like. So as I've matured, as we all mature, we gain more balance with things. And the question is not about, I mean, how can we show self-care and not be buying into the self-doubt? Hopefully that made a little sense. Okay, and one healing card from the Carolyn Mace Daily Practice for Maintaining Spiritual Balance cards. Okay, Spirit, please give us one healing card for the day, one healing energy, some advice maybe about... Whoop. God gives you only the present, moment by moment. We have had that before. How much of your precious day do you invest in the past? Everything from your past, except wisdom and love, has long since served its purpose. Witness what calls to you from yesterday and why. So to connect that really to this self-doubt, I think that we can heal things from the past that might be still plaguing us. So for example, for me, junior high school was awful. And I had some sort of traumas that came around my comparing myself to the other girls and thinking that I had to be like them and that I was unacceptable and getting messages of being unacceptable compared to them. And so how can I take those labels off myself now? Because I sort of, a label is sort of like a meal that somebody's serving you, right? And they come along and they say, well, you're ugly, or you're a dork. These are the kinds of things that people might have said in my day. You're awkward. You don't fit in. You're whatever. So you in whatever way you have this label of you're unacceptable, they fed you. They gave you this plate. And what you did, whether you knew you were doing it or not, is you took the plate and you ate that food. If you believe that still today, if you took that label on, then you ingested it and it became a part of your self-definition. And what I'm suggesting you do today is really take a look at what the labels are that you really want to have, what's authentic to you, and discard the rest. So that kind of fits with this card in the sense that, it says everything from your past except wisdom and love. And wisdom is what we gain, right, from looking back. And so now take off those labels that you don't like. You don't need them anymore. Maybe they came from a parent. Maybe your parent compared you to siblings. You're not as smart as, you're not as athletic as, you're not as artistic as, you're not as sweet as, whatever the comparisons were. And you might have taken labels on that really aren't at all authentic to you, that you don't need to have anymore. They do not serve you now. So, sort of like cleaning out your closet, put them into a metaphorical bag and throw it away. You don't need them now. Today I will not undermine myself with self-doubt. Today I let go everything except wisdom and love from the past. Today I become aware of my self-doubt and where it first began for me, so that I can get rid of it. Okay, how about one Power of Surrender cards, because I have them here from yesterday. No. You know what I'm going to do? Today we're going to do one Mystic Moon Oracle card. I was playing with these today and they're awesome. So we'll do one Mystic Moon Oracle card, and let's just ask for a message for Divine Feminines today. And I'll interpret it, but more importantly, you could think about what it means to you. Okay. Dear Spirit, give us one guidance from Mystic Moon Oracle What do you want to tell the Divine Feminine Collective today? Oh, well, there's 3 cards. Awakening. And tribe. And fall. Fall is about letting things go. It's about letting the things that are dead and no longer needed go, right? I think about the falling leaves and stuff in the fall. Tribe, I kind of think of this, you guys are my tribe now. The Divine Feminine Collective is a fabulous tribe. I love the support and encouragement and, you know, awakening to our own journey, awakening to our own path, awakening to the possibilities of what our potential is, who we really are. We've been hiding our light, so we're going in to sort of excavate and get rid of the debris that's clouding the light inside of us so that we can shine it brightly. Nobody needs to be like anybody else. So find what is awaken to your own authentic self and then celebrate it. And that is a great message for today. Thank you, Mystic Moon. And you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for being with me. Bye. Turn it off.